Hello, this is Frank Fortunato. Today is Monday, November 14th, 2011. Lots going on. Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi has resigned. The new Prime Minister will be a fellow named Monti, who's an economist, actually. There's some hope. Even though the Italian bond sale that went off this morning had a 6.5% interest rate, which has stocks very nervous. That's obviously unsustainable. Meanwhile, in the Middle East, the King of Jordan has recommended to the president of Syria that he leave, get out immediately. We'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, in our little world, Lloyd's insurer Catlin has estimated its year-to-date cat bill at $670 million US. This is up 25% from the estimate it gave at the June half-year point. Catlin said the increase was caused by deterioration in its half-year loss estimates as well as new cat activity. They've been hit hard by the July flooding in Copenhagen, the U.S. Hurricane Irene, and the floods in Thailand. Stephen Catlin said that we believe that fundamental changes in the marketplace are on the horizon. Several years of falling rates for many classes of business, the challenging investment environment, and the increasing strain on some insurers mean that reinsurers' balance sheets are all due to change. The company reported it had achieved rate increases of over 10% in catastrophe-hit businesses during the third quarter. Also of note, Catlin said that their non-London insurance hubs now account for 49% of gross written premiums. In a long-awaited deal that seems to be finished, Amwins has agreed to acquire 100% of the share capital of Lloyd's broker Thomson Heath Bond, THB. The completion of the deal will increase Amwins' distribution of annual premiums to more than $6.7 billion US. It was announced today by THB Group Executive CEO Frank Murphy and Amwins CEO Stephen DiCarlo. And here's some interesting news. Warren Buffett announced this morning that he now owns about 5.6% of IBM. He's bought $10.7 billion worth of IBM stock. He announced it at CNBC this morning. He's long refused to invest in high-tech companies, but he said he's recently changed his view of IBM based on what he read in the company's annual reports. He said he should have known years earlier that the heart of IBM's business is providing service and equipment to information technology departments. He said there's a fair amount of presumption in many places that if you're with IBM, you stay with them. President Obama is leaving Hawaii, heading to Indonesia and then to Australia. There was a summit meeting in Hawaii of 22 Asian nations, Pacific Rim nations. He apparently has some stern words for Chinese President Hu. He said that China needs to recognize it is now a grown-up economy and needs to start behaving more responsibly on currency and trade issues. No word on the president of China's response. Here's an interesting comment from Mark Grandison, CEO of Arch Worldwide Reinsurance Group. He said reinsurance companies may be over-reliant on computer models, which tend to be very similar to each other across the industry. He said the beauty of underwriting is that no one really knows what's going to happen. He said you have to pick and choose where you're going. It's very much a judgment call. Those who can win pretty big. We have so many actuaries going to the 5th decimal place when sometimes we miss what's happening on the left-hand side of the decimal point. An explosion in a restaurant in the tourist city near the Chinese ancient capital of Xi'an, where the terracotta warriors are, occurred this morning. It killed at least 9 people and injured 34 others. According to the authorities, it's apparently due to a petroleum gas leak. And Boeing announced that they've signed an $18 billion deal with Emirates Airlines. It's the biggest deal in Boeing's history. It's going to supply Emirates with 50 new 777-300 extended range aircraft. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.